Okay, so what is epigenetics and how can we use it in a therapy workshop? So, the study of epigenetics is the expression of genes. What is gene expression? Genes can be altered in expression by what we receive or are lacking in our internal and external environment. Things such as basic healthy nutrients, stressful experiences, all of these. Genetics is the study of heredity, how traits are passed from one generation to the next. And DNA is organized by being wrapped around a protein called histone. In one of my courses, it explained that DNA is like a cookbook with every recipe for you individually for hormone balance, how tall you'll be, eye color, how many kidneys you'll have, your emotional balance or imbalance. All of this is passed on and intermingled from your mom and your dad. So, transcription is when our DNA is copied into RNA and to be used. So, just like that cookbook, that hereditary cookbook that we don't want to touch, we don't want to mess up, we want to preserve it, so we photocopy it in order to use or to give out. Translation is when RNA codes a specific sequence of amino acids to form a protein. And in each cell, these different proteins are translated. So every cell has the exact same DNA. So different DNA sequences can be turned on or off in a process called differentiation. Our bodies control what genes are turned on and how much RNA you transcribe, which is called gene expression. Epigenetics is one of the ways gene expression can be controlled. That's altering gene expression without actually changing the DNA sequence. There are many ways this can be done. One is methylation. It's a process where methyl groups are added to your DNA sequence, and then they can affect how genes are transcribed or how the RNA is copied. We have different methylated chromosomes inherited from our mother's side compared to our father's, so methylation will affect the DNA structure, and heavy methylation is associated with DNA that is not expressed or used to make RNA, which is also inactive DNA or can't be read. So thus, we may have issues or problems in our bodies due to a lack of something to create proper function and healthy needs. So let's say this is our cookbook, and these are our methyl tags. So now some of these are going to direct you to where you want to read so that you can flip it and go there immediately. So now some of these methyl tags are going to make it so that you can't read that information, such as these. So what we need to do with epigenetics is take these off. So now that information can be read. So it can't be read or expressed if it has those methyl tags on it. So with that, I can't open the book to see what I need. So if these methyl tags are constricting, this methylation imprinting from our parents both shows differently. So our lifestyle also can alter our methylation patterns, such as smoking, stress, starvation, not getting proper nutrients and nutrition. And thus your gene expression will change because through these bad ways, we've gained either intentionally or unintentionally, like stress. Our genes will now be expressed differently going forward, and that imprinting will then be passed on to our kids unless we cause that gene expression to change back. So we get older and sicker, more achy, more emotional, because each year we add those methyl tags on, making us not be able to use or transcribe healthy traits, chemicals, and hormones in our body that give us energy or for sleep and healthy routines. So we need to change this. And when we change this, we actually improve change and health for future generations inheriting our genes. It's pretty interesting. So it's been studied not to just children, but this will also affect even to grandchildren. So another illustration, say your DNA is a hardware store. The epigenome, the multitude of chemical compounds that tell the genome what to do and controlled by these markers that are in place, is the constructor head. I'm not in construction, whatever you call that guy. So some of our bodies have these bad controller guys, and we need to deal with them and set them straight. They're doing things their own way, which they shouldn't be, and they're wreaking havoc. So with the hardware store, it has everything your body needs to create everything to build, furnish, and decorate it. Fingers, toes, organs, body systems like the nervous system. But do you use every item in that hardware store? Do you put doorknobs all over your ceilings and chairs bolted to the walls and faucets coming out of your doors? Well, no, that would be kind of ridiculous. So again, we have to go back to that constructor guy. So our DNA has everything we need, like that hardware store, and our body knows how to pick and choose what it needs and where it should go. But sometimes things go haywire, which is why we're here at this workshop. We need to speak to that general contractor. So how do we bring balance to the body, its chemistry and hormones interacting and creating what we need to function in an everyday way? Less stress, less strokes, less heart attacks, less pain, less inflammation, less brain fog, less memory loss, more mobility, more energy, better sleep, and so on. So there are epigenetic modulators that turn genes on and off. We can turn on the genes of health and longevity and turn off the genes of cell decay and death. And some of us don't even want to go that far. We just need some help and energy now. So this course is 1 day, but it will teach you how to benefit your health for your lifetime. So science has created drugs to alter gene expression, but there are natural ways to do this too. We will look at the 12 modulators to help alter gene expression in this workshop. MDs teach that your body is a biological machine and that your genes control your health, i.e., you are a victim of your genes. So they now know that our environment determines our gene expression more than our genes. So Blair Justice, PhD, says that genes account for only 35% of longevity, while diet, exercise, stress, and other environmental factors are the major reasons people live longer. So defective genes are damaged for life, but epigenetic tagging or methylation is reversible. They can be demethylated, but also any methyl tags you need that were knocked off can be regained. They've seen things from nutrients and enriching experiences, the opposite of stressful experiences. So that now those healthy traits can be read again. And this is why I've created the Epigenetics Starter Kit for nutrients, oils, bot drops to help and support. So how do you know if you need that? Well, just thinking about things, you can start to listen to how your body feels and understands itself now. For instance, thinking about it, do you want joy, happiness, good friendship? How do you feel when you say that in your head? What about evil, maliciousness, hateful people in your life? Again, how do you feel? Instantly you're thinking or picturing that, and your body is responding. So think about those two statements again. My heart felt lighter and happier, and then it went to a pit in my stomach and my intestines. One to the second question. Your subconscious knows without even something being tangible, because we have lived life and experienced, unfortunately, both forms in some ways of feelings or thoughts, these things. So same with nutrients, oils, bot drops, and reading about what they do for us. Our subconscious knows if it'll be beneficial for us or not. So Dawson Church said, when you shift on the spectrum from a position of worry, anxiety, and stress to happiness, joy, and love, you produce profound biological changes in your body. So as for nutrient help, for instance, genes change their expression depending on what is happening outside our cells and even outside our bodies. So eating unhealthy and not supporting our body causes bad health. What's that documentary, Super Size Me? If anybody's seen that, it gives you a very clear indication of what that is on a daily basis. Typically, we don't do that every day, but you can see the effects of it in that documentary. So what does highly nutrient-dense supplements do then? So they add those proper epigenetic tags to be able to read the healthy traits that we need, healthy chemicals, healthy hormones, energy levels flowing back in our body again. If the epigenetic tags don't work properly, there isn't the right ones in the right places, or there's ones blocking, cancer or cell death is possible. So it says in our workbook, everyone has tumor suppressor genes that are capable of stopping cancer cells. These genes are present in every cell of your body, but so are proteins called histones, or coiling proteins. I'm going to botch this, Jean-Pierre Issa says histones can hug DNA so tightly that it becomes hidden from view for the cell. If a tumor suppressor gene is hidden, it cannot be utilized, and in this way, too much histone will turn off these cancer suppressors and allow cancer cells to proliferate. And Dr. Lipton says that having a cancer program in your DNA does not automatically mean you are destined to get cancer, because that genetic information does not ever need to be expressed. What this all means is that you are not controlled by your genetic makeup. Instead, your genetic readout, which genes are turned on and which are turned off, is primarily determined by your thoughts, attitudes, and perceptions. So there is a study of rats that were not licked or cared for, which is rodent nurturing, and they produced more stress hormones as adults. It altered the hippocampus, and put simply, there are methyl groups capping the off switch for stress hormones there. There's also a study with a belief linking depression to be epigenetic in the manual on page 9. So if this depression is epigenetic, it is reversible and therefore open to this approach. So our emotions regulate genetic expression too. Dr. Candace Pert said, when emotions are repressed, denied, not allowed to be whatever they may be, our network pathways get blocked, stopping the flow of the vital feel-good unifying chemicals that run both our biology and our behavior. So by taking this workshop, you can start to change how stress is manifested in your body and release that stress, creating change and taking out those pebbles and weight that you've been carrying around daily in that backpack or baggage, which drags your mental, emotional, and physical health down. Then by learning how to use the modulators to give you back those beneficial methyl tags. So in this workshop, we briefly go through the 12 major modulators that help with changing these over, but you will learn 5 different epigenetic healing cycles during this workshop. And within those 5 cycles, there's 4 ways to do them. The workshop is about 7 hours. So as we go through them, we take our time, we talk, we go through any questions that you may have, and you get to learn step by step how this works. As we go through these 5 different cycles that you will learn, as we go through these 5 different cycles, we will learn all 14 points per cycle. So that's why it takes about 45 to an hour per cycle to learn. So this is an instructional workshop. This isn't a healing workshop. So we are going to be working on just very basic issues so that you stay in the mode of learning the entire time.